Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Governor. I'd like to first remind those who are here of the procedure that the Board of Regents has developed for dealing with situations like this. Early in 2007, shortly after the Governor took office, many of you remember that we had the tragedy at Virginia Tech, and we became aware that we didn't have a systematic approach to campus safety and security in Ohio. Governor Strickland commissioned a task force on the subject, and one of the recommendations was the creation of a permanent office of campus safety and security within the Board of Regents. We did recruit and fill that position forthwith. The Director of Campus Safety and Security for the Ohio Board of Regents, Rick Amwig, is here with us today. If anybody has any questions for him, he's certainly able to answer those questions. Among his responsibilities are to make sure that there is, in effect, on every campus in Ohio, a safety and security plan to not only deal with potential incidents of violence, but also pandemics such as the one that we are facing now. A critical element of that plan, as you have heard from the Commissioner, is that each campus has active relationships with their local health commissioners and local safety forces. As you know, personnel change frequently on campuses. Faculty change, students change every year, and we also occasionally have personnel changes at the local offices that they have to work with. So we are critically aware, and we are always maintaining those relationships between local campuses and their local health officials. In this case, in the case of H1N1, we have activated the Office of Campus Safety and Security. That office has been in touch with each and every member of the University System of Ohio, which is our 14 public universities and 23 community colleges, operating on, as you know, multiple campuses throughout the state of Ohio. And so we can report that each and every one of those campuses has activated their emergency plan and is in touch with their local health commissioners, as well as activating their information plan to their students. We have also, because of the quick onset of this incident, have been working through the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities of Ohio, AICUO, to communicate with all of the private universities and colleges across the state of Ohio. Of course, a critical element of activating that plan on every campus is first and foremost information. Students sometimes keep different hours than adults do. We can't always be assured they're watching their local news, and so every campus has an emergency communication system they've activated to convey the exact types of information that you've heard from the Governor and the Commissioner and the Director of Health today, to make sure students are aware of the preventive measures they can take and the safety precautions, of course, as well, to work with their universities and their local health departments regarding vaccinations, as students, as you've heard, are in the targeted age group. Finally, when an incident does occur, when we do believe someone may have contracted the H1N1 strain, then the university's health plan activates to seek a separation to the largest extent we can of that student from the rest of the student body, including, if it's possible, for the students to actually leave the campus and go home, because again, those of you all remember life on campus, it's very difficult to actually separate students living in dormitories and eating together in cafeterias. So we work to identify the cases, to seek a separation, but most importantly to get the information out that you've heard today, and make sure students are aware of the proper procedures, preventive procedures, and how to access the vaccination.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you to the Governor and also to Dr. Jackson for really being very aggressive in developing a statewide strategy for dealing with the H1N1 influenza. As Superintendent of Public Instruction, I'm really committed to keeping our school communities safe and healthy places for students to learn and for teachers and administrators to work. The Ohio Department of Education has been engaged in pandemic flu planning for several years since the threat of avian flu actually emerged. Because of this work, I believe that we are well equipped to deal with any widespread illness that actually may occur in school districts throughout the state. Since news of the H1N1 broke earlier this year, the Ohio Department of Education has been actively engaged in helping districts to stay informed of the latest guidance from the health agencies. We are strongly encouraging districts to explore ways as to how they would maintain continuity in providing educational services in the event of prolonged school closures. Given the current threat of the H1N1 virus, we are advising schools to review their emergency management plans to ensure that their response plans are equipped to deal with the specific issues surrounding H1N1 and to continue to serve as great information providers to families and to staff. Additionally, the department will monitor all outbreaks and work to modify any rules or requirements that may be hampered by prolonged absences of students or staff or closures of schools. We continue to encourage school districts to work with their local health departments to address issues that may be of great concern. Since concerns about a potential H1N1 outbreak emerged, ODE continues to provide regular updates to districts and schools as new information becomes available. This communication has included guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and the U.S. Department of Education, offering schools advice about preventing the spread of illnesses and other topics of information for families. In addition to communication that is regularly disseminated to school district administrators, ODE also has a webpage dedicated to information and resources for H1N1 pandemic planning and also a link to the Ohio Department of Health. The information on our website can be visited by finding the website education.ohio.gov. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of ODE, the Ohio Department of Health, other state agencies, and local health departments, Ohio schools are well prepared for any potential flu outbreak. We serve on the state agency task force for developing a statewide pandemic flu plan, and we are assisting the Ohio Department of Health in collecting information on school closures that occur as a result of an influenza outbreak. Also, because most of our school districts actually incorporate students and teachers from local universities, we are also encouraging them to connect with their local universities who provide them with student teachers to ensure that there's continuity of practices between the university system and the local school district. As I said, and I want to reiterate, our main concern is to ensure that schools remain safe and healthy places in which to learn and to work.